Hey fellas, I told you to go over a little more in detail on this Reader Products grinder. Now that I've had it for a couple months and I've been using it, I feel I can tell you, a little more about it and be a little more honest about it. Reader Products grinder sells on their website. This one for $4.95 is what I bought it for. I bought it without the wheels from Reader Products. I got them somewhere else, but they sell them with their chassis body for, I believe it's $5.95 for the entire package there. The orange handles here, those don't come with the original package. You have to purchase those separately, and those orange handles are $36 for two. They also come in black for the tooling arms, so you can make adjustments here without the use of an Allen wrench. Kind of sucks making a bunch of adjustments and changing tools out and having to use an Allen wrench the whole time. So that's why these things are so convenient. I'd recommend getting these. It'll save you a lot of time and frustration. The Reader Products grinder, for what you're getting, I think, and what you're spending, I think this is going to be one of the best grinders out there, and not just because of how much it costs, really just because of the quality. Looking at it, it's all tooled, CNC aluminum here. Got little accents to make it look not too standard. And one of the greatest perks and selling points of this grinder, in comparison to other grinders, is the ability for it to lay down horizontally, so you can grind both vertically and horizontally. The way they do this is just with this arm right here. When you loosen this arm, this arm keeps it upright. I'm just gonna pull it back and run this so it sits flush on the table, and the whole grinder will lay down horizontally. While using your tool rest, what you can do is set this in there, and with these Allen bolts on the tool rest, you can loosen them and move this tool rest over. So this tool rest will actually take up the entire space right here between your two wheels. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to go through that, but you can kind of get an idea of what all you can use this for. It's as easy as putting it right back up and moving that arm, supporting arm, back on this bolt and retightening it. Other brands out there have the capability to do this, run vertically and horizontally. However, you have to buy additional mounting brackets to be able to do that. This comes as is, in that $495 package or $595 package, already with the capability to do that. So that was one of the biggest selling points for me personally, to get this. Now, I don't use it a whole lot horizontally, but having that option to be able to do that, I felt was worth it. The tracking wheel here has a locking nut on it. For when you get it dialed in and your belt tracking, you can just lock it so the vibration on the grinder won't send it going off one way or another. Another thing that I've seen with this tracking system that other grinders don't have is adjustments from left to right. So not only does the tracking wheel adjust in and out, the mounting system can actually adjust from left to right also, so you can fine tune that belt in and get it grinding the way you'd like. Another feature that I personally like is this locking bolt here. So you can lock the arm for easy changing of the belts. The homemade belt grinder that I had prior to this, you had to be pushing down the arm, the tension arm, with one arm and then change the belts with the other. So it's a little tedious when trying to change the stuff out. So that really makes it a lot easier. The platen here will also adjust in and out. Adjusts at angles, so you can flat grind at angles. You can take it off for slack belt grinding. The tool rest here, this comes in the package and also adjusts at different angles. You know, if you want to get a certain angle while adjusting the platen here, you know, you can accommodate that with this tool rest. These tool arms come in 20 inches and then 23.5 inches. The 20 inches are $60 a piece, while the 23.5 are $70 a piece. As far as the attachments, get into the attachments here. It's really easy with those handles there, like I said, to remove the tool arms for different attachments. This here is the small wheel attachment. This is $80 just for the small attachment right here itself. Go ahead and hook that up so you can see that. And what's great about the small wheel attachment here compared to other brands is it has these cutouts in the back, top, and on bottom. And what those do is allow you to get a really tight radius and angle when you're using these right here. So you can get into really tight spots, whereas if you didn't have it, you know, your belt's going to be coming in and out at different angles. So you might not be able to get as deep as you want, say on a handle or fabrication. So these really help out. You have to kind of get the tensioning correct. You have to kind of play around with it, get a feel for it, because if the arm is not locked down far enough out, when you turn the belt on, it'll actually kick out this bottom one. So you have to have the right kind of tension. Reader Products, they don't sell the small wheels. I got these from, I believe it was the Oregon Blade Maker on eBay. I think it was $115 for this set. So that's a small wheel attachment there, $80. The next attachment I've got here is the contact wheel. And if you're a knife maker, you know this is kind of a must when you're doing different bevels, different kinds of bevels here. So you just lock it down, unlock the tension in there, and adjust your tracking for the wheel. Once you got the tracking set, you can lock down the tracking wheel so it stays there. This is the reason for the 23.5 inch tool arm here. Because if you had the 20 inch tool arm and you have their bevel jig, which is probably the cheapest bevel jig out there. The only other one in this style is the Jantz, and that's $400 to $500. This one from Reader Products is $225. And if you get it in combination with the contact wheel, you're going to want to get the 23.5-inch tool arm. And the reason is because if you get the 20-inch and you stick it in here, the locking bolts here will not grip the tool arm if you have the 20-inch, just because of how far out you have to set this jig in combination with the wheel here. Now if you're only using, you know, a 4, 5, maybe an 8-inch wheel, you're not going to have a problem. This here is a 10-inch wheel. So I think if you are wanting to use the 20-inch tool arm with this jig, I think maybe the 8-inch wheel is going to be around the max of where you're going to want to use. If you're using anything bigger than an 8-inch, I'd recommend you get the 23.5-inch tool arm. And this is $70, like I said, on their website. So, give you a little tutorial on this this jig, kind of let you know what all it offers. Obviously, if you've never used one of these before, this is going to look really cool. And it is really cool just because of, you know, if you're doing multiple knives, you know, a lot of knives at once, doing a lot of the hand grinding, although it's good to start out with that and learn how to do it. If you're doing a lot of knives at a time, this is just a time saver. You know, it's really good in getting the consistent grind. You know, you're just sticking it in here and pulling it through, you know, at a certain point. So, a problem that I kind of ran into, and I talked with Greg and Don, was while using, you know, like files, you know, different kind of knife mediums that knife makers will use, just because of the different planes here on the inside of this grinder, it was kind of catching. The Ricasa was catching while you're dragging it through here. They've since remedied that at their facility, so that shouldn't be a problem anymore. What Don had told me is when he knife makes, he usually uses, you know, straight stock and the stock removal and whatnot. So he has that straight piece, and he hadn't thought about, you know, people using files and other different mediums. But what he told me is that he wants to fix the problem that we were having, because he wants this to be, you know, the go-to grinder to be able to do any type of grinding, knife grinding that you could think of. So any type of medium that you're using, he wanted to be able to accommodate that. Now you might notice that this doesn't have the up and down adjustments that, you know, the grinder jigs like the Jants have. What it does have instead of that is this this bolt right here that you will adjust in and out, and that will actually adjust the tilt on this up and down. So although it doesn't have the up and down adjustment, like I said with the Jants, you can adjust this up and down to the wheel in order to set the placement of your grind and your bevel. Obviously you have the in and out right here, and the way these are meant to use is not for hogging off metal while you're doing your grind. You know, these are meant to use slowly and in small increments. So when you're doing a blade, you know, you want to run it through, find out, you know, how close you need to be here, and then once you run it through on both sides, flip it around, do the other side, and give it a small turn and keep going. So this is a small gradual bevel here. Another product they have is the knife sharpener tool. So instead of sitting down and doing the stone grinds, I'll show you that. The knife sharpener is used on the platen tool. How this works is it mounts straight to your platen arm here. It already has the holes drilled out and tapped that you would need. This hole right here goes right over the top, or right inside the mounting bolt for your top drive wheel here. And this bolt, which it'll come with, is what locks it down. So there's still some tools that are going to require you to use Allen wrenches, which isn't really that big of a deal. And what you want to do is set this up with about a paper's thickness between the belt and the contact block right here for the sharpening. As you can see, the rest here, you can adjust up and down to set your angle. This right here is what you're going to lock your blade down into. You just set it in here and tighten it down, and while your belt is running and your blade is in here, you're just going to gently run this across here and then flip it over, and you can run it, back on the other side, so you can get that real nice consistent second bevel, you want to call it, on your knife. So you don't have to sharpen the entire bevel. You can just use that second bevel there on the edge. So in a nutshell, that's the Reader Products grinder. As you can see, I got the VFD. I bought this separate. I got it on eBay for I think $355. I've got the 2 horsepower Baldor motor, and that runs really great. I'm running this right now on 110, but with the VFD, I'm able to run this 2 horsepower 3-phase motor on 110. You can do some wiring in here and hit some switches where you can operate this on 110, but you still have the capacity to switch this over to 220 and get that extra power, if you needed to or you wanted to. The table I have is the Tool Shop. I think I got it at Menards for $80, and then I have a movable base mount, so I can move this around on wheels anywhere I want, and I think that was $40. All in all, with the attachments, which I have pretty much everything that Reader Products has to offer, along with the VFD, the motor, the table, I have about $2,200 into this thing. Which, if you know anything about grinders made for knife makers and all these attachments, you're looking at around at least $3,000 when you're looking at other products out there. And then when I was talking to Greg and Don, they did express some interest in making a surface grinder. Right now, he said that's not going to be in the foreseeable future, just because they're a fairly new company, and when people learned about these guys, their business took off. So right now they are, working day and night trying to fill all the orders that people are putting out there. Like I said, for what you're spending and what you're getting in this package, I feel this is the best grinder out there that you can get. Right now on their website, they are offering packages that include everything, and everything I mean, the motor, the VFD, different attachment combinations. So you can go on their website and pick which package you want with a total price from them. I think what I spent without the motor, the VFD, the table obviously, without these wheels, without the drive wheels, with just the RPS101 and all the attachments, I want to say I spent maybe $1,300 on all that, and the rest of, my cost was in my motor and my VFD, my table, my small wheels, and then my drive wheels. So if you guys have any questions, I'll make a couple more videos of me actually using the attachments so you can kind of see that. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Don and Greg over at Reader Products. I've been, I'm a hunter also, so I also call a lot of companies when I have problems with stuff. Greg and Don, I mean, if you call them, they will spend time on the phone and answer any questions you have, and they will make it right, if something's not wrong. It's one of the best companies, I've had contact with in terms of customer service. Really friendly people, down to earth. It's a really small operation right now, but I have a feeling that they're going to grow quite a bit once people start learning about these and how cost effective it is, to buy one of these setups. So like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know, something specifically, let me know, and I'll try to answer those. Thanks.